Vaguely reminds me of a situation I found myself in China, but not 1/10 as scary, but scary nonetheless. I was an exchange student in China around 2000 and with a fellow buddy I was exploring Shen. Our hotel was on a very big 6 lanes, brightly lit street with half the people foreigners. At about 10 p.m. me and my mate decided to go out and find something to eat. At an intersection we found a smallish shop, bought a snack and asked around with super limited Chinese and English, and found someone who spoke English, the niece of the shop owner. She was super young, cliché, but she looked underaged, but in her late teens, but spoke good English and said that she could direct us to a very good and cheap restaurant. So we agreed and she leads us just down the street and into the non-tourist part of the city. It was interesting how the surroundings changed. After a few minutes we were the only foreigners on the streets and a lot of people were staring at us. The buildings became more rundown and the place was brightly lit, but charming. She kept talking to us, asking us questions, where we stayed, how long we stayed, what our plans were, etc. And she mentioned a few times that she was studying and 21 years of age. This raised a few alarms with me, but me and my mate didn't want to be rude, and we were hungry. After about 15 minutes we arrived at a very small and somewhat charming restaurant. I don't know the proper name for this kind of shops, but in China, at least the cities that I visited, there were a lot of shops in prefabricated houses. Each house had 2 smallish shops on the street level and you could see all sort of businesses in these, some of the bigger ones renting 2 adjoining ones to form a bigger shop, etc. The restaurant was in one such half-sized store. There were just 4 tables, 1 counter to the kitchen in the back and 1 video game machine. With the help of our translator we ordered and she then excused herself. The food was super good and cheap. We both got a super large bowl of ramen, a heaping dish of different baozhi dumplings and several beverages for no more than 25 to 30 bucks. So far so good, but what made the whole situation strange was several other factors. For one, the other guests in the restaurant looked like straight out of a crime flick and they were talking about us, pointing and laughing. One had a bad knife scar on his cheek, the other a broken nose and a third one I kid you not, eye patch. While we ate, we saw a lot of people gawking at us, but especially noticed something like gangsters. They were 4 youngsters with matching leather jackets and short cropped hair, who patrolled the street at least 4 times while we stayed there and always looked straight at us when they passed the shop. After we ate and paid, all of a sudden our 21-year translator turned up again, inquired if the food was good and offered to take us to some very good place with a lot of fun. We declined and thanked her, but said that we would just return as we were tired. She fast-talked us, told us about party, beautiful women, young girls, etc., but when we saw the youngster gangers again, we waited 1 minute and then bailed out of there. She followed us and seemed very frustrated and even panicky that we left so sudden and tried her best to convince us to follow her offer, but we got out of there ASAP. In high-speed mode we made it back to that big, 6-laned main road and said our goodbye to her. That whole situation was super scary. In hindsight this were probably all just very nice and hard-working people who just never had seen foreigners in this part of the city, but this youngster gangers, this cliché pirates at the other table, and the shady way how the girl tried to goad us to God knows what a place while multiple times stating that she was 21 years of age, all this together lead me to the conclusion that we just got out of there in time.